Good morning, my phenomenal learners. A huge energetic welcome back to day 2 of our Power Words for Progress, the ultimate 365-day challenge. A fantastic pat on the back for showing up again, bright and early, ready to learn. That's the consistency that builds greatness. Yesterday, we unlocked our first set of power words, diving into ephemeral, ubiquitous, mellifluous, serendipity, and perfunctory. A quick question for you: how many of you have managed to use one of those words yesterday? A quick me in the comments if that applies. That's how we make these words truly ours. Today, we're not just continuing, we're leveling up. We're diving into another set of 5 dynamic words that will sharpen communication, deepen understanding, and give even more precision in expressing thoughts. Remember, this journey is about empowering the learner's voice. The challenge remains the same: don't just hear these words. Don't just memorize definitions. The goal is to feel the nuance of each word, to connect it to real life, and most importantly, to make a plan to use it today. That's the secret sauce to lasting vocabulary mastery. Are all learners charged up and ready for day 2? If everyone is ready to conquer these words, let's dive in. Alright, our first power word for day 2 is capricious. This word describes something that can be quite unpredictable. Let's practice the pronunciation slowly. Capricious. Now, let's say it all together, clearly and smoothly. Capricious. Excellent. That rhythm is spot on. So, what does capricious mean? It describes someone or something that is given to sudden and unaccountable changes of mood or behavior, unpredictable and impulsive. Think of someone whose decisions change without reason, or weather that shifts suddenly from sunny to stormy. That's capricious. Let's visualize this meaning with an image. See how the weather can't be predicted, or how the person's mood changes without warning. That quality of being unpredictable, impulsive, and changing suddenly without a clear reason is exactly what capricious means. Let's talk about this. When someone or something is capricious, it can be challenging because one never knows what to expect. A capricious boss, for example, might change their mind constantly, making it hard to plan. Sometimes, even nature can be capricious. A question for our learners: has anyone encountered a situation or person that felt particularly capricious? What was that like? Share those thoughts in the comments. Let's look at how to use it in a sentence. The stock market can be capricious, with prices fluctuating wildly from day to day. See that? It shows how unpredictable and suddenly changing it can be. Let's see another sentence. She found it difficult to work with her editor, who was often capricious in her demands. Think about it. The editor's requests changed suddenly and without clear reason, making work challenging. Now words that mean something similar to capricious are fickle, unpredictable, whimsical, and impulsive. On the other hand, words that mean the opposite of capricious are stable, consistent, steady, and predictable. This is a word to describe those unpredictable moments. Let's make this word truly ours. Let's repeat this phrase with clarity: I adapt to capricious changes. Say it again, with strength and readiness: I adapt to capricious changes. Yes, adaptability is the key. Our second powerful word for day 2 is conundrum. This word perfectly describes a tricky situation. Let's practice that pronunciation. Conundrum. Now, all together, nice and clear: conundrum. Fantastic. That pronunciation is spot on. What does conundrum mean? A conundrum is a confusing and difficult problem or question, a riddle. It's a puzzling situation that's hard to solve or understand. Let's visualize this meaning with an image. See how the maze is confusing to navigate, or how the knot is difficult to untangle. That sense of a puzzling, difficult problem or question that requires a lot of thought to solve is exactly what conundrum means. Let's talk about this. When one faces a conundrum, it means dealing with a challenging puzzle. It's not just a simple problem. It often involves conflicting elements or a lack of clear answers, making it hard to decide or move forward. Consider a time a difficult decision or a puzzling situation was faced. What was that conundrum? Share those experiences in the comments. Let's look at how to use it in a sentence. The ethical conundrum of balancing personal freedom with public safety presented a huge challenge for policymakers. See that. It was a difficult and confusing problem with no easy answers. Let's have a look on another sentence. He faced a classic conundrum. Should he choose a high-paying job he disliked or a low-paying one he loved? Think about it. A difficult choice between two conflicting desires. Now, words that mean something similar to conundrum are puzzle, riddle, dilemma, mystery, and enigma. On the other hand, words that mean the opposite of conundrum are solution, answer, clarity, and simplicity. This is a word for life's tricky questions. Let's make this word truly ours. Let's repeat this phrase with clarity and confidence. I will solve every conundrum. Say it again, with power and determination. I will solve every conundrum. Yes, with that amazing mind, it will be done. Our third word for day 2 is ambivalent. This word perfectly captures those mixed feelings we sometimes have. Let's try pronouncing it slowly. Ambivalent. Now, all together, ambivalent. Wonderful. That emotional nuance is there. What does ambivalent mean? Ambivalent means having mixed feelings or contradictory ideas about something or someone, undecided or conflicted. It's when both positive and negative emotions or thoughts are felt at the same time. Let's visualize this meaning with an image. See how the emojis show opposing emotions, or how the scale is perfectly balanced between two different choices. That state of having mixed feelings, feeling both attraction and repulsion, or being undecided, is exactly what ambivalent means. Let's talk about this. When one feels ambivalent about something, it means the feelings are complex. It's not a clear yes or no, but a bit of both. One might be ambivalent about moving to a new city, excited for new opportunities but sad to leave friends. It's a very human experience. Can anyone think of something they feel ambivalent about right now? A new trend, a certain food, or even a big decision? Share those ambivalent thoughts in the comments. Let's look at how to use it in a sentence. He felt ambivalent about the new job offer. It paid well, but the commute was very long. See that. Mixed feelings were present, both positive and negative. Look at another sentence. Many students are ambivalent about online learning, appreciating its flexibility but missing in-person interaction. Think about it. Conflicting views were held, seeing both pros and cons. Now words that mean something similar to ambivalent are conflicted, undecided, equivocal, and mixed feelings. On the other hand, words that mean the opposite of ambivalent are certain, resolved, unwavering, and decisive. This is a word for our complex emotions. Let's make this word truly ours. Let's repeat this phrase with clarity and understanding. I acknowledge ambivalent feelings. Say it again, with strength and self-awareness. I acknowledge ambivalent feelings. Very wise. Our fourth powerful word for day 2 is disparate. This word helps us describe things that are truly distinct. Let's practice that pronunciation. Disparate. Now, everyone, all together, disparate. Excellent. That distinction is clear. What does disparate mean? Disparate means essentially different in kind, not able to be compared, fundamentally distinct or dissimilar. It's used for things so unlike each other that they can't be truly connected or put into the same category. Let's visualize this meaning with an image. See how these two objects are utterly distinct, belonging to entirely different categories and having almost no common ground. That quality of being fundamentally different in nature, not just a little bit different, is exactly what disparate means. Let's talk about this. When things are disparate, they're so unlike each other that it's hard to find a connection or common ground. Think about disparate opinions, disparate systems, or disparate elements that just don't mix. It highlights significant contrast. Can anyone think of two things that are completely disparate in life or in the world? How do they differ fundamentally? Share those thoughts. Let's look at how to use it in a sentence. The committee struggled to reconcile the disparate views of its members on the new policy. See that? Their opinions were so fundamentally different, it was hard to bring them together. Check another sentence. The research team brought together experts from many disparate fields to solve the complex problem. Think about it. They gathered people with vastly different areas of expertise. Now, words that mean something similar to disparate are distinct, different, dissimilar, unrelated, and diverse. On the other hand, words that mean the opposite of disparate are similar, alike, uniform, and homogeneous. This is a word for clear distinctions. Let's make this word truly ours. Let's repeat this phrase with clarity and precision. I recognize disparate elements. One more time, with purpose. I recognize disparate elements. Yes, a keen eye for differences. Our final powerful word for day 2 is mitigate. This is a crucial word for problem solving. Let's practice that pronunciation. Mitigate. Now, let's say it all together, mitigate. Great. That sense of relief is coming through. What does mitigate mean? To mitigate means to make less severe, serious, or painful, to lessen the impact or intensity of something. It's about reducing the negative effects of a problem or a situation. Let's visualize this meaning with an image. See how pouring water lessens the fire's severity, or how the shock absorber reduces the impact of bumps. That action of making something bad or difficult less severe, less painful, or less impactful is exactly what mitigate means. Let's talk about this. When one mitigates a problem, steps are being taken to lessen its negative consequences, even if it can't be eliminated entirely. Governments try to mitigate the effects of climate change. Doctors try to mitigate pain. It's about damage control and making things better. A quick question: what's something that has been successfully mitigated recently? Perhaps a stressful situation or a challenging task. Tell us about it in the comments. Let's look at how to use it in a sentence. Wearing a helmet can mitigate the risk of serious head injuries in an accident. See that. It lessens the severity of potential harm. Look at another sentence. The company implemented new policies to mitigate employee burnout and stress. Think about it. Steps were taken to make the stress and burnout less severe. Words that mean something similar to mitigate are alleviate, reduce, lessen, diminish, and soften. On the other hand, words that mean the opposite of mitigate are aggravate, worsen, intensify, exacerbate, and heighten. This is a powerful word for problem solving. Let's make this word truly ours. Let's repeat this phrase with confidence and purpose. I seek to mitigate challenges. One more time, with power and determination, I seek to mitigate challenges. Yes, a true problem solver. Alright, my amazing wordsmiths. Now that we've truly understood each of our 5 power words, capricious, conundrum, ambivalent, disparate, and mitigate, it's time to see them come alive in a story. This is where the magic happens, where the words make sense in a real situation. Listen closely, and try to spot each word as the story, the explorer's path, is told. Alara was an intrepid explorer, drawn to untouched landscapes. Her latest expedition took her to a vast, unpredictable wilderness where the climate was notoriously capricious, swinging from scorching heat to sudden, torrential rain without warning. Every day presented a new conundrum. How to conserve dwindling water supplies while still pushing forward, a confusing and difficult problem that constantly weighed on her mind. She felt deeply ambivalent about continuing the journey. On one hand, the thrill of discovery and the sheer beauty of the untouched nature called to her. On the other, the constant risks and the isolation filled her with conflicting emotions. Her small team was a collection of individuals with disparate skills, a botanist, a geologist, and a survival expert, fundamentally different in their approaches, yet they had to learn to work as one. Together, they worked tirelessly to mitigate the dangers, building shelters against the storms and carefully rationing supplies to lessen the severe impact of the harsh environment. Despite the capricious challenges, their ability to navigate the conundrums and mitigate risks, even with their ambivalent and disparate styles, allowed them to complete their remarkable journey. Moral of the story. So, what's the powerful lesson we learn from the explorer's path, my friends? In a capricious world filled with conundrums, overcoming challenges requires acknowledging ambivalent feelings, leveraging disparate strengths, and actively seeking to mitigate risks. Think about that. It means that even when things are unpredictable and problems are tough, by understanding mixed emotions, using different talents together, and trying to reduce the negative impacts, one can navigate any difficult journey and achieve goals. Today, we explored 5 dynamic words together: capricious, conundrum, ambivalent, disparate, and mitigate. And the learning wasn't just about hearing them, it was about feeling their nuance, understanding their essence, and hearing them come alive in the explorer's path. Learners are building an incredible vocabulary, day by day. Now, here's a crucial step forward. The challenge for all learners is to actively use these words, and all the words learned so far, in real life today. In conversations, writing, thoughts, social media posts, wherever possible. Remember this: vocabulary is not just about words, it's about power, clarity, and impact. And an even stronger toolkit is now available for the ongoing journey. We've completed day 2, and 363 more exciting days await in our Power Words for Progress series. Keep showing up, keep learning, and keep growing. Until then, stay focused, stay curious, and as always, keep learning, keep growing, and keep using your power words. If this session was enjoyed, Please hit that like button, share this video with everyone who needs a vocabulary boost, and most importantly, comment below with a favorite word from today, and use it in a sentence. I eagerly await seeing the amazing examples. Have an amazing, impactful day, and see everyone tomorrow for day 3.